I, 28F, have been dealing with my entitled sister-in-law Lisa, 32F, for years, and I've finally reached my breaking point. My husband Harold, 30M, and I have been married for 3 years, and Lisa has been a thorn in my side since day one. To give you some background, I met Harold during our college years. We were both studying education, dreaming of becoming teachers. Harold and I hit it off immediately, bonding over our shared love for literature and our desire to inspire young minds. We dated for 2 years before getting engaged, and those were some of the happiest times of my life. Lisa is Harold's older sister, and she's always felt like she needed to be the center of attention. When Harold and I first started dating 5 years ago, Lisa made it clear that she didn't approve of me. She would constantly make snide remarks about my appearance, my job as a teacher, and even my family background. I come from a working-class family. My dad is a plumber, and my mom is a nurse. We never had much growing up, but my parents always made sure we had what we needed. Harold's family, on the other hand, is quite well off. His dad owns a successful construction company, and they live in a big house in an upscale neighborhood. Lisa never let me forget this difference in our backgrounds. I tried to brush off Lisa's comments at first, thinking she just needed time to warm up to me. I even made efforts to bond with her, inviting her for coffee or shopping trips. But every time, she'd find a way to put me down. Once, when I invited her to go dress shopping for a family event, she spent the entire time pointing out how certain styles might hide my flabby arms or distract from my plain face. I left them all feeling horrible about myself. Things only got worse as time went on. Lisa would forget to invite me to family gatherings, then act surprised when I showed up with Harold. She'd make backhanded compliments about my teaching job, saying things like, "It's so noble of you to work with children, even though the pay is terrible." I could never sacrifice a good lifestyle like that. The real problem started when Harold and I got engaged. We had been talking about marriage for a while, and Harold proposed on our 2-year anniversary. It was a beautiful, intimate moment in the park where we had our first date. We were on cloud 9 and couldn't wait to share the news with our families. We announced our engagement at a family dinner, and Lisa immediately burst into tears. She claimed that we were stealing her thunder because she had just started a new job the week before. She demanded that we postpone our engagement announcement for at least a month so that she could have her moment in the spotlight. Harold and I were shocked. We couldn't understand how our engagement could possibly overshadow her new job. It's not like we planned our engagement around her career moves. Harold's parents, however, seemed to think it was a reasonable request. They suggested we be considerate of Lisa's feelings and wait to share our news. We refused, standing our ground that our engagement was our moment to celebrate. That's when the wedding planning nightmare began. Lisa insisted on being my maid of honor, even though I had already asked my best friend, Sarah. Sarah and I have been friends since elementary school. She was there for me through my parents' divorce when I was 15, and she was the one who encouraged me to talk to Harold when we first met in college. There was no question in my mind that she would be my maid of honor. But Lisa threw a fit when she found out. She cried to Harold's parents, saying I was purposely excluding her from the wedding. She threatened to boycott the wedding if she wasn't given the role. Harold's parents pressured me to give in, saying it would keep the peace and that it was tradition for the groom's sister to be in the wedding party. Harold tried to stand up for me, but his parents guilt-tripped him, saying he was choosing me over his family. It was our first big test as an engaged couple, and I could see how torn Harold was. Against my better judgment, I agreed to make Lisa a co-maid of honor with Sarah. I thought it would solve the problem, but it only made things worse. From that moment on, Lisa took over every aspect of the wedding planning. She changed the color scheme from the soft blues and greens we had chosen to bright pink and orange, saying my choices were too boring. She invited 20 of her own friends without asking, claiming they were extended family we couldn't exclude. The worst was when she tried to convince me to change my wedding dress. I had found a beautiful, simple A-line dress that made me feel like a princess. But when Lisa saw it, she insisted it wasn't bridal enough. She dragged me to multiple bridal shops, pushing me to try on enormous ball gowns and overly embellished dresses that weren't my style at all. When I stood firm on my original choice, she made comments about how the dress made her look fat in comparison and that I should consider her feelings as the maid of honor. Throughout all of this, Harold was caught in the middle. He tried to support me, but he also didn't want to create more family drama. His parents consistently took Lisa's side, telling Harold that he needed to control me and make me more accommodating to Lisa's wishes. It put a huge strain on our relationship, and there were times I wondered if we should just elope. The final straw came on the day of the wedding. After months of stress and arguments, the day had finally arrived. I was nervous but excited, ready to start my life with Harold. Then Lisa showed up to the ceremony wearing a white dress. Not just any white dress, but a full-on wedding gown. She claimed it was cream and therefore acceptable, but everyone could see it was bridal white. I was furious. This was supposed to be my day, the one day where I could feel special and celebrated. But once again, Lisa had found a way to make it about her. Harold begged me not to make a scene, saying we should focus on our vows and not let Lisa ruin the day. I bit my tongue and tried to enjoy my day, but Lisa managed to ruin every moment. During the reception, Lisa gave a 30-minute speech about herself, barely mentioning Harold or me. She talked about her accomplishments, her new job, and how she had shaped Harold into the man he is today. Then, to top it all off, she announced that she was pregnant, effectively hijacking our wedding. The rest of the night was spent with guests congratulating her instead of us. I thought things would get better after the wedding, but they'd only gotten worse. Lisa's pregnancy has made her even more entitled. She expects everyone to cater to her every whim, and Harold's parents enable her behavior. They've turned every family gathering into a celebration of Lisa's pregnancy, even our first wedding anniversary dinner. Now, I'm 6 months pregnant with our first child, and Lisa is due a month after me. She's already trying to take over my baby shower, insisting that we have a joint celebration. She says it's more efficient and that it would be selfish of me to have a separate shower when we're due so close together. I absolutely refused, wanting at least this one celebration to be about my baby and not Lisa's. But now Harold's family is calling me selfish and unreasonable. They say I'm being petty and that I should be happy to share this special time with Lisa. Harold's mother even suggested that Lisa should be the one to plan the shower since she has more experience with these things. I'm at my wit's end. I don't want to cause a rift in Harold's family, but I can't take Lisa's behavior anymore. Harold tries to stand up for me, but he always gives in to keep the peace. He says he doesn't want our child to grow up without a relationship with his side of the family. I'm worried about what will happen when our baby arrives. Will Lisa try to make everything about her child? Will she try to compete over whose baby reaches milestones first? How can I set boundaries without causing more drama? Am I overreacting, or is Lisa's behavior as toxic as I think it is? How can I handle this situation without ruining my relationship with my in-laws? I feel like I'm losing myself in all of this drama, and I just want to enjoy my pregnancy and prepare for our baby in peace. Update 1. Thank you all for your supportive comments and advice. Your responses really helped me see that I wasn't crazy for feeling this way about Lisa's behavior. I showed Harold some of your comments, and it finally opened his eyes to how serious the situation is. We had a long talk about everything that's happened since we got together, and he agreed that we need to set firm boundaries with Lisa and his parents. We decided to go ahead with my original baby shower plans, hosted by my best friend Sarah and my mom. We chose not to invite Lisa or Harold's parents, which, as you can imagine, caused a huge uproar in the family. Lisa called us crying, saying we were depriving her of her aunt rights and that she had already bought decorations for the joint shower she had planned without our consent. Harold's parents left angry voicemails, threatening to cut off contact if we didn't include Lisa. They said we were being childish and that family should stick together no matter what. Harold's dad even brought up how he had helped Harold pay for college, implying that Harold owed them for that. It was hard for Harold to hear these things from his parents, but I was so proud of how he handled it. He finally stood up to them and told them that their behavior was unacceptable. He explained that we needed space and that if they couldn't respect our boundaries, they wouldn't be a part of our child's life. He reminded them that being grandparents was a privilege, not a right, and that their current behavior was jeopardizing their relationship with their future grandchild. The baby shower went beautifully without any drama. My friends and family were incredibly supportive, and it felt amazing to celebrate without walking on eggshells. Sarah did an amazing job with the decorations, and my mom made all my favorite foods. We played fun games, and I got to open gifts without worrying about Lisa making snide comments or trying to one-up me. It was everything I had hoped for. However, the peace didn't last long. A few days after the shower, we discovered that Lisa had created a fake social media account pretending to be me. She used this account to post nasty comments about my friends and family who attended the shower. She wrote things like, "Can't believe these losers actually showed up to celebrate my fake baby and so glad I could trick these idiots into giving me free stuff." But it didn't stop there. She even went as far as to claim that I was faking my pregnancy for attention. She posted a long rant about how I had tricked Harold into marriage and was now pretending to be pregnant to keep him from leaving me. She included old photos of me where I looked slimmer, claiming they were recent and proof that I wasn't really pregnant. We were horrified. Not only was Lisa spreading vicious lies, but she was also impersonating me to do it. Harold immediately called his parents to confront Lisa, but their response left us speechless. Instead of being appalled by Lisa's actions, they defended her. They said she was just hurt and acting out because we had excluded her from the shower. They suggested we apologize to her for hurting her feelings and include her in future baby preparations to make amends. Harold and I were at a loss. We couldn't believe how far Lisa was willing to go to hurt us, and we were equally shocked by his parents' response. It was clear that they would always take Lisa's side, no matter how egregious her behavior. After much discussion, we decided to take a break from all contact with Lisa and Harold's parents until after the baby is born. We felt it was necessary for my mental health and the well-being of our unborn child. We've blocked their numbers and social media accounts for now. I'm feeling a mix of relief and anxiety. On one hand, it's nice not to deal with their drama on a daily basis. I can focus on preparing for our baby without constantly worrying about what Lisa will do next. On the other hand, I'm worried about what Lisa might do to retaliate. She's shown that she's willing to go to extreme lengths to hurt us, and I'm concerned about what she might do next. We're considering legal action if she continues to impersonate me online. We've started documenting everything, taking screenshots of the fake account posts, and saving any messages or voicemails from Lisa and Harold's parents. We hope we won't need to use them, but we want to be prepared. This whole situation has put a strain on Harold and me, but it's also brought us closer in many ways. We're united in our decision to protect our little family, and Harold has really stepped up in standing up to his family. We're trying to focus on the positives. Our baby will be here soon, and we're excited to become parents. Has anyone dealt with a similar situation? How did you handle it? I'm trying to stay stress-free for the baby, but it's hard with all this family drama. Any advice on how to move forward would be greatly appreciated. I'm also worried about the long-term effects of this situation. How do we explain to our child why they don't have a relationship with their aunt and grandparents? It breaks my heart to think about it, but I also know we're doing what's best for our family. Update 2. Things have escalated even further since my last update. We thought going no contact would give us some peace, but Lisa found new ways to insert herself into our lives. About a week ago, I started receiving packages at our home. At first, I thought they were late baby shower gifts, but when I opened them, I was shocked. They were all addressed to the real mother and contained items for Lisa's baby, not ours. There were onesies, toys, and even a car seat, all in the theme and colors I had chosen for our nursery. Attached to each package was a note from Lisa, saying things like, "Since you stole my baby shower, I thought I'd show you what a real mother deserves, and I hope your fake baby enjoys these hand-me-downs." It was clear that Lisa was still fixated on the idea that I was faking my pregnancy, despite the fact that I'm visibly showing at this point. Harold was livid when he saw the packages. This was a new low, even for Lisa. He tried calling his parents again, hoping they would see how unhinged Lisa's behavior had become. Instead, they accused us of making it all up to make Lisa look bad. They couldn't fathom that their precious daughter would do something so cruel. We decided to file a police report for harassment. The officer who came to take our statement was sympathetic but said there wasn't much they could do unless Lisa made direct threats. They suggested we keep all evidence and consider a restraining order if things got worse. It was frustrating to hear, but we understood that legally, their hands were tied. To add insult to injury, we found out that Lisa had been telling people in their hometown that I had tricked Harold into marriage by faking a pregnancy, and that I was now faking this pregnancy to keep him. Some of Harold's old friends actually believed her and had been sending him concerned messages. One of his childhood friends even reached out to ask if Harold needed help escaping from me. Harold finally reached his breaking point. He wrote a long email to his entire family, explaining everything Lisa had done, from the wedding incident to the latest harassment. He included photos of the packages and notes from Lisa, as well as screenshots of the fake social media account she had created. He told them that until they could acknowledge Lisa's behavior and stop enabling her, we would not have any contact with them. The response was mixed. Some family members reached out to apologize, saying they had no idea things were so bad. Harold's cousin, who had always been close to him, called to offer support and said he had noticed Lisa's behavior but hadn't realized how extreme it had gotten. A few of Harold's aunts sent us caring messages, saying they understood our decision and hoped the family could heal in time. Others, however, doubled down on supporting Lisa. Harold's parents sent a scathing reply, accusing Harold of abandoning his family for an outsider, meaning me. They said he was betraying his sister during her delicate condition and that he would regret pushing away his family when he needed them most. An uncle suggested that my hormones were making me paranoid and that we should forgive Lisa for any misunderstandings. This division in the family has been hard on Harold. He's lost relationships with people he's been close to his entire life. There are moments when I can see the doubt in his eyes, wondering if we're doing the right thing. But then he looks at my growing belly, feels our baby kick, and I know he's committed to protecting our little family. We're now looking into moving to a new home where Lisa doesn't know the address. It feels extreme, but we're worried about what she might do when the baby arrives. We've started researching neighborhoods in nearby towns, looking for a place that's still close enough for me to commute to my teaching job but far enough that Lisa can't easily find us. The stress of all this is taking its toll on me. My doctor has expressed concern about my blood pressure and has advised me to avoid stress as much as possible for the baby's sake. We've started looking into prenatal yoga and meditation classes, hoping they might help me stay calm. Despite all the drama, we're trying to focus on the joy of preparing for our baby. We've been working on the nursery, choosing furniture, and picking out tiny clothes. These moments of normalcy feel precious amidst all the chaos. Has anyone had to take such drastic steps to protect their family from toxic relatives? How did you explain the situation to your child when they got older? I worry about the long-term effects of this estrangement on our baby. While I know we're doing what's necessary to protect our family, I can't help but feel sad that our child won't know their aunt or grandparents. We're also concerned about the legal implications of all this. Can Lisa's false accusations have any real impact on us? Could Harold's parents try to pursue grandparents' rights once the baby is born? We're considering consulting with a family lawyer to understand our options and how to best protect ourselves. In the meantime, we're trying to build a strong support system of friends in my side of the family. It's not easy, but we're determined to create a loving, drama-free environment for our child. Update 3. It's been a whirlwind few weeks since my last update. Our baby boy, Oliver, was born last month, and while it should have been the happiest time of our lives, Lisa managed to cast a shadow over it. My labor started unexpectedly 2 weeks before my due date. Harold and I rushed to the hospital, excited and nervous about meeting our little one. We had a birth plan in place, and the hospital staff was aware of our family situation. We thought we were prepared for everything, but we couldn't have anticipated what happened next. Somehow, Lisa found out which hospital I was delivering at. We still don't know how she got this information, as we had been careful not to share it with Harold's side of the family. On the day I went into labor, she showed up at the maternity ward, telling the nurses she was my sister and demanding to be let in. She claimed she had a right to be there for the birth of her nephew. Thankfully, we had warned the hospital about her, and they had noted in my file not to allow anyone but Harold into the delivery room. The nurses called security, and Lisa was escorted out. But not before she caused a scene, screaming that we were keeping her from her family and that she knew the baby wasn't real. Harold's parents showed up shortly after, having been called by Lisa. They caused a scene in the waiting room, yelling that we were cruel for keeping them away from their grandchild. They demanded to be led into the delivery room, claiming they had a right to be there for the birth of their first grandchild. The hospital staff threatened to call the police if they didn't leave. Despite the drama, Oliver's birth was beautiful, and Harold was an amazing support throughout. We had a few blissful days in the hospital, just the three of us bonding. The nurses were incredibly supportive, ensuring that no one disturbed us and giving us tips on newborn care. The real shock came when we got home. We found our front yard decorated with blue balloons and a giant banner saying "Welcome home, Lisa's nephew." There were also flyers stuck to our neighbors' doors, announcing the birth of Lisa's nephew and inviting everyone to a party at her house to meet the baby. We were stunned. This was a new level of crazy, even for Lisa. We immediately called our lawyer and filed for a restraining order. We also had to go around to all our neighbors, explaining the situation and asking them to ignore the flyers. Most of our neighbors were understanding, but it was embarrassing to have to share our personal drama with them. Harold's parents called, demanding we bring Oliver to meet them and Lisa. When we refused, they threatened to sue for grandparents' rights. Our lawyer assured us they had no case, especially given Lisa's history of harassment, but it's still stressful to think about potentially going to court. We're now seriously considering moving out of state. Harold's company has an office in another city, and we think a fresh start might be what we need. It breaks my heart that Oliver won't know his grandparents or aunt, but I can't risk Lisa's obsession affecting him as he grows up. For now, we're focusing on enjoying our new life as parents. Oliver is a joy, and watching Harold become a father has been incredible. We're learning to navigate sleepless nights and diaper changes, and these quiet moments with our son make all the drama feel far away. We're also working on building a support system of friends in my family. My parents have been amazing, helping out with Oliver and providing the love and support that Harold's family should have been giving. We've also connected with other new parents in our neighborhood, forming friendships that we hope will last as our children grow up together.